Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to try to draw glass. Now what I did is I've taken a picture of a beer glass that's just in the cupboard, and I want to explain to you. I printed it out, of course, to help you watch along and draw along. And what I wanted to show you is how to get extra help. And for this demonstration I'm using a variety of all kinds of pencil pencils. And what is very important to get to draw a very convincing glass is that you take notice that this glass can be placed in a cube. Now here you see our horizon line, and from that horizon you can exactly see how to draw the ellipses. And this print is available, of course, on my Patreon page to help you draw a very convincing glass indeed. Now what you also have to take notice of is that you have a light side and a dark side, even though you can watch right through the glass. Now what I've done here is I've drawn in that cube coming from that horizon, and that glass that I want to draw now is inside that cube. Now that is really the only way to get you started to draw a very convincing glass. But also these lines will help you to make all sections equal, so that that glass is not crooked, because then it's not convincing at all anymore. So by drawing in that cube first, you can actually measure out and just pay very close attention that all sides are correct. Now this middle line is very important too, and from that middle line there comes the leg of the glass that's placed on the foot of the glass, and you can also see that the ellipse in the bottom is somewhat bigger than the one in the top. Now this will be different for when you're drawing a wine glass, for instance, but still, if you make a picture first, then you can see exactly by using that horizon line how the ellipses will work for you. So here you can see that right side is the light side and the left side is somewhat darker, but it's just a tiny bit. Now what I do first is check out where the highlights are. The setup I'm doing on a mid-gray Canson paper. It's especially for pastel pencils, and I've chosen pastel because now I can show you what I see for what are the whitest whites in that glass. So I need to draw in the shine first, but this can be applied, of course, in any drawing medium, even when you are painting or making a watercolor. But you have to keep in mind to keep that glass inside that cube. Now of course you have the rounded side that's on the front and the outside, and you have the rounded side that is inside the glass. So I'm trying to draw this, and I keep in mind that cube, and this is what is helping me to draw as much convincing glass as possible. Now here I'm putting over a complete area of a little bit of white. Just press very softly so that the right side is slightly lighter than the left side. once you have done this, you can take a mid-gray pastel pencil. Now it's time to draw in a little bit of color. You can see that the gray and the white pastel is blending together a little bit. So I'm not using any blender stick for this drawing because I want to keep it as clear as possible and for you to watch and draw along. You can see that this mid-gray is a little bit bluish gray, and I'm already starting to get a little bit of that glass effect. What I've also noticed is that there is a little bit of dark pink. So I draw that in mostly on the left side of the glass. Eventually, the left side of the glass will be a little bit darker than the complete right side. Now here's the inside of the shines, but I need to draw that in too, of course, because you can look right through the glass. What I've also noticed is that not all the whites are very only white indeed. So here I've taken a light yellow pastel pencil and I temper down a little bit of some parts of that whites. I do that on the foot too, but I've also noticed that the color of the foot is a little bit different than the color of the glass of the bulb itself. Now what is also very nice is that golden edge on top of the glass. Here I've taken a burnt sienna, which is a very dark brown, and I'm using that as an underlayment for that edge of the glass. Then I can see some light yellow, so I place that in too. And there's also an edge underneath that dark edge. What I've also noticed is that it is very shiny. So I'm taking white and bright yellow for the parts on that edge that have that shine. So I'm adding extra white, extra yellow, and then I just put in a little bit of ochre. I think that's a very nice detail for the glass itself. Now what I also do is I take that burnt umber, burnt sienna, it's my darkest brown, and I also use that for the inside of the glass and here for the edges. Now I'm not going to draw in that print that is on the glass because I just wanted to focus on the glass itself. But of course you can also draw in prints or even a little bit of beer inside if you want. But I suggest for your first try to just focus on the glass itself. Focus on what is in front and what is inside. Focus on the right and the left side. Like the right side is slightly lighter than the left side. Also, you will have to deal with a lot of reflections. Try to look as much as possible to the glass on your print. And you do not have to draw in every little detail exactly, but just focus on the main forms and well, the reflections that strike you the most. As long as you keep in mind that this glass should fit inside your cube, then your drawing will become very, very convincing. You can see me shifting now and then, going back to the white, going back to the mid-gray, and going back to the dark. And so I just, as the drawing continues, I just add more and more detail. And you can, well, go really, really far on this if you want. But your main lines, those are the most important. Here for the top of that golden edge, I add a little bit of extra of that very dark brown. And what you can also see is here in the bottom of the glass there is also a lot of contrast between that white and that dark brown. I think this is a very, very nice study indeed to do. And I'm leaving in the little helper lines for you. So I hope this will help you. And well, I just love doing this, and I would love to draw in even more glasses and glasses behind the glasses and etc, etc. But anyway, just keep in mind that this glass should be standing right on the table. And as a little extra, I'm drawing in a little bit of shadow on the left side of the glass, which is your dark side, of course. And here on the right, your table should be a little bit lighter. And well, that's mainly it. It's just a study, but I do hope you will give this a try, because this will help you a lot in the future of your drawing. I hope you will give it a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, of course. Check out my Patreon page, and I will see you again next Friday.